Arcadia back on financial track. We didn't get here easily. We won't get out of this very easily. Some tough decisions have to be made. But I know there was a lot of work on the budget. Judy and Renee made many adjustments to the budget this past week. I know that Matt has worked. Where is Matt? Hey, Matt has worked to trim the budget as much as he can. There was some mention of a letter from the Joint Legislative Auditing Committee, and there's been some suggestion that, well, the state's just blowing smoke, and they're not really going to come to Arcadia and do anything. But, and that may be true, I don't know, but I've seen evidence that it has happened in other communities. But I've got to tell you, the thing that catches my eye most from this letter is that it's addressed to me. It's got my name on it. It doesn't have anybody else's name out there. I don't even see where it has the other council, although it does say I should share this with them. And we did. This letter's from back in April. But I've got to tell you that I'll try not to talk directly into that. Apparently we're live for sound tonight. It does say, it says in accordance with Florida Statute 218-39, Parents 8, Parent 8, Parent A, that on February 18, 2013, the committee adopted a motion to direct the City of Arcadia to provide a written statement to the committee explaining why full corrective action has not been taken, or if the governing body intends to take full corrective action, describing the corrective action to be taken and when it will occur. If the above noted findings have been corrected and were not included in the audit for the fiscal year, please indicate such in the required statement. Please provide the statement by July 10th, 2013. Well, I was sweating this thing right up till till July 10th, because we had some issues that occurred that our budget wasn't able to be completed, and it was difficult to respond to the Legislative Auditing Committee. But again, hats off to you, Judy, for putting together the response. It was quite a packet of information that went up. And to the best of my knowledge, we have not heard back.
They don't convene until September.
Yeah, so they won't be meeting until September. So I wanted to share that tonight. To our financial position. In my mind, there's only two ways to balance a budget, and that's to raise revenues or reduce expenses. And we've all been working real tough on it, really hard on reducing the expenses, and to raise the revenues is quite a challenge. We are responsible to set a budget in the millage. We need to hold to what the standard we set for ourselves, that we put 17% aside in reserves. So next I wanted to ask our attorney TJ to give his legal opinion on the police department. So TJ, you had shared your opinion with us, and I'm free to share.
The legal opinion is that you cannot unilaterally, a municipality nor a county can unilaterally essentially relinquish ultimate responsibility of any of its municipal services without a dual referendum passed between, which would require the City of Arcadia and DeSoto County to pass to each of the governing bodies, the commission and the city council, to pass resolutions, the city offering to give the policing and the county to accept it, and it would also be required to have the citizens of both the city and the county to have a referendum passed in which all of the citizens of both county and city would agree to that. Essentially, it's in Article 8, Section 4 of the Constitution, and there's been case law on this, not necessarily in this direction, but going in the opposite way. In Sarasota County attempted to do the exact same thing, but in reverse. They attempted to have their sheriff take over the police, and I believe 3 or 4 different municipalities in Sarasota County, and the Supreme Court said you can't do that. You're in violation of Article 8, Section 4, because you haven't had it requires the municipalities to pass resolutions, and it requires the citizens of these municipalities to vote and have a 50% vote to agree to do that. So in my opinion, that I gave the council was that we can't do this unless it's agreed to. The route, most people know that there are plenty of municipalities that do have their sheriff within the county policing within the city limits, and that's done through a what's called an interlocal agreement. And there's plenty of case law that says an interlocal agreement is valid. It's not a relinquishment of the ultimate responsibility, because the municipalities have a unilateral cancellation right. Meaning, at any time, if they're not happy with the services the sheriff is providing, the municipality can vote to cancel the interlocal agreement, and the police department or city marshal takes over the policing within the city again. So essentially, that's the difference between going into an interlocal agreement with the sheriff's office versus just dissolving your police department and having the sheriff come in under an equal protection argument under the Constitution. And so that's essentially what I shared. The nuts and bolts version, it gets a lot more complicated than that, going through the case law, but essentially that's the nuts and bolts version. That's the best with the simplest form, the simplest way I can explain it.
He also came up with changes in his staffing. He eliminated, I think, 4 positions, which brought his budget down. His budget right now is at $1.4 million, and it was at 1.7. So he has reduced it by $332,955. I think that's a good deal.